Super simple. So it's basically ground turkey meat, Italian sausages. Now I'm making a bunch because I'm taking this to my husband's practice night, his music practice. So I'm making a lot. And cottage cheese. And I like to use Prego and a bag of mozzarella. So first thing I'm doing is I'm boiling a big pot of water so that I can get my lasagna noodles going. Now the way I do it is I don't boil them all the way through. I just kind of boil them so they're just a little bit pliable, and then I put them into my bowl. Just because if I do it when they're super soft, then they just get really kind of soggy inside the oven. So first thing I'm gonna do is get this water boiling. I'm gonna get the meat. So now what we're gonna do is go ahead and take the casings off of the Italian sausages and get those started frying. Now you wanna do this first because basically you wanna get the sausages starting to fry prior to putting your turkey meat in. But I figured I'd speed up this process and do a little bit of voiceover so that we can get this going quickly. So as you can see, I use quite a bit of sausage. So I had to cut all these casings off. But okay, so I think that was the last one. And now we're going to get the turkey meat. So what I usually do is just break it down and get it started. So because it usually comes in one big block. So just breaking it down really helps out a lot. Okay. So while that's cooking and getting all fried up, what I like to do is take 2 of these aluminum foil kind of pans and put a little bit of my marinara sauce on the bottom and then spread it around. This way, the lasagna noodles, when they cook, they won't stick to the bottom of the pan. So I'm making quite a bit of lasagna, so I need 2 pans. So that should do it. Cover them both up. So I'm going to show you after all the meat has been cooked and there's very little any pink left. So this is what it's going to look like. And the reason why I like to use turkey is because it renders very little fat. There's really no fat in here. Basically it's just the water because turkey holds a lot of moisture. So basically I'm letting this kind of boil down to it all kind of disappears, and then I'm going to add the marinara to this. And I did not season this meat at all. The Italian sausage has a lot of flavor in it already, and once we add the marinara sauce to it, it's actually going to flavor it by itself. So it's going to add flavor to the marinara. So this is going to be the sauce that we're going to use to layer our lasagna. Okay, so the meat is completely cooked now. So now I'm going to go ahead and add the marinara sauce. As I said, I'm making 2 big pans of lasagna, so I'm just going to go ahead and add all of this. And yeah, these are the jumbo ones that you get from Costco. Normally, I would use a whole one of these, but because I have maybe like a quarter of this one left, I'm just going to use the rest of this. And maybe all of the other one, I'm not sure yet, but let me see. Open this guy up. Now remember, you don't need to buy this massive amount. You can just get whatever you need for the amount of food you're gonna make for your family or for your friends or whomever. But I tend to make a lot of food, so let me just show you what it looks like. So we're gonna give it a good stir. Nice. So at this point I went ahead and turned the fire down to a low, because I didn't want the marinara splashing all over me, but once it heats up, it will start to splash. So I want to kind of stir this pretty quick and get this moving. And right now, because marinara has a lot of acid in it, what I like to do is add a little bit of sugar, and this is a trick my sister taught me. It just sweetens the mixture a little bit and kind of gives it a little bit more flavor. So a little sugar goes a long way. So I'm gonna, because this is a big pot, I'm gonna add, I'm gonna kind of put this, maybe, that was probably about, maybe 1/4 cup of sugar in here is what I did. Now remember, this is a very large pot. So I use basically almost whole one of these, so that's pretty big. So you definitely don't have to add sugar to it, but this is the way I was taught how to do it. So let me give it a taste. Get a spoon. Okay, so we're gonna add a layer of the meat sauce. Let me grip this up here. 3 scoops. Okay, so we got a layer of the meat sauce. So now we're gonna start layering. So I added the layer of meat sauce. So now we're gonna add the mozzarella cheese. And what you wanna do is, just add enough to kind of cover your layer of meat sauce. And the way my sister makes this, it's so delicious, it's so cheesy. So I like to use a lot of cheese too, because I like it the way she makes it taste. So we're gonna add plenty of mozzarella cheese. And now, now that we got the mozzarella cheese down, we're gonna go ahead and add the cottage cheese down, and then another layer of noodles. Now remember, the pan is smaller on the bottom and gets wider towards the top. So that's why we want to add as many noodles as you can, just to kind of cover as much space as you possibly can. Then we'll add some more of the marinara meat sauce and get that spread around and try to cover as much area as you possibly can. So we'll add another layer of the mozzarella, and then we're going to add the cottage cheese again. So cottage cheese is just an inexpensive way versus ricotta, even though both are very fantastic to use, but I prefer to use the cottage cheese. So our last layer of noodles are going on right now. Like I said, make sure you kind of overlap them a little bit, try to cover as much space as you possibly can, and then we're gonna add that little bit back of meat sauce, and even use, if you have any leftover marinara, definitely do that. That's what I did, so I had some left. And cover as much of the noodle space as you possibly can, so that everything gets covered, so when it bakes evenly, and no noodles get hard. Then we'll add our last layer of mozzarella. We'll get that all covered up, and try to cover up as much as you possibly can, so that way everything is cheesy and delicious. I usually like to use Italian seasoning when I put this on, but I didn't have any, so I used oregano, which is just as good. It's got a lot of flavor, and so it really brings a lot of brightness to the lasagna. So this will basically go into a 350-degree oven for about 40 to 45 minutes until it's completely heated through. And this is your result, a delicious lasagna for your family. Enjoy!